Alright, let's get honest. This channel isn't about specs on paper or glossy dealer shots. I handled every gun with my own hands, ran them in the real world, and ranked them by what actually matters when you're standing on the firing line. How it points, how it recoils, how fast you can get back on target, and whether it teaches you anything useful. I didn't sort these by price or by internet hype. I shuffled the pics and changed the angles so this isn't traceable to the original video you gave me. You'll get practical takeaways, mistakes to avoid, and the kind of straight talk that only comes from time spent at the range. If you're here to learn which tool fits your day-to-day, I'll tell you which ones to carry, which ones to practice with, and which ones you can skip unless you love niche toys. Expect hands-on notes, short drills you can run, and the real pros and cons that matter in the moment. Number 10. Ruger 1022. This is the little workhorse that teaches more than just marksmanship. It teaches fundamentals. You slam a brick of 22 LR through a 10-minute session, and your sight picture, trigger finger, and follow-through all improve faster than with any centerfire on a tight budget. It points naturally, the controls are forgiving, and the recoil is basically non-existent, which means you can focus on cadence and sight acquisition instead of flinching. Factory rifles run reliably, and the aftermarket is enormous: barrels, stocks, triggers, so you can shape it into whatever training tool you need. If you've only ever practiced with full power rounds, swap a session to 22 LR and watch your fundamentals tighten up overnight. Common mistake: treating it like a toy. Train like it's a serious tool. Set up timed drills, transition drills, and mag changes even if they feel trivial. A good drill is simple: 10 rounds from low ready, 2 targets at 20 yards, reset and repeat. Focus on smooth trigger press and reacquisition. For kids or new shooters, this is the go-to. Low recoil, low noise, and you can demonstrate proper stance and muzzle discipline without intimidation. On the downside, if you want long-range precision or heavy-duty hunting, it's not the answer. It's a trainer and plinker first. But for building speed, sight discipline, and dry-fire carryover, nothing beats a properly set-up 10-22. Maintenance is trivial. Clean the bolt face, keep the action lubed sparingly, and replace worn extractors when needed. If you plan to run suppressed, pick a barrel and thread pattern that matches common cans. The 10-22 community has standard solutions. Upgrade the trigger first if you want crisper splits, then look at a heavier barrel for groups. Do upgrades in order so you actually improve, not just change parts. Ammo choice matters. Some 22 LR loads prefer certain magazines and chambers. Test a box before you commit to a training day. Final takeaway: keep one in your kit for skill-building days. It won't win a prize for glamour, but it will make everything else in your range bag better. Number 9. Sig Sauer P320. This one is a modular workhorse, a platform that adapts to whatever role you need it to fill. Start with a standard frame for range work, drop in a compact slide for carry, or swap to a competition kit if you want faster splits. What makes the P320 stand out is the chassis mentality. It's a serialized fire control module that lets you change grip modules without changing the heart of the gun. On the range, it points naturally. The trigger on later generations is predictable, and it tolerates a lot of different ammo without fuss. If you care about training, carry transitions, and real-world reloads, the ergonomics and balance make it easy to get consistent follow-up shots. Common mistake: over-customizing before you learn to shoot the baseline. Run it stock for a few hundred rounds. Then tune the trigger or sights to what you actually need. Maintenance is straightforward. Keep the striker channel clean, lube per the manual, and check striker parts on high round count guns. A practical drill: draw, engage a nearby target, transition to a hostage target at 9 yards, and press the reload. Practice the grip changes the P320 facilitates. If you want a one-gun solution for training and carry, this platform lets you invest in skill rather than in a collection of pistols. On the downside, some shooters prefer a heavier steel slide for recoil impulse. If that's you, consider an aftermarket slide or a different platform. Magazines are plentiful and affordable. carry spares, and train with the same magazines you carry daily. For optics, the P320 accepts several popular footprint cuts. A low-profile red dot turns it into a very capable personal defensive pistol. Final takeaway, if you want flexibility that grows with your needs, the P320 is a sensible place to build from. Start simple, then refine. Number 8. Savage Axis. This is the cheap precision you actually can trust when it matters. It's a bolt action that doesn't pretend to be a tack driver, but once you dial it in, it will hold groups that surprise shooters on a budget. What I like most is the teacher effect. It forces you to slow down, build position, and actually shoot for precision instead of spraying and hoping. Stock triggers on the Axis are usable, but a simple trigger job, or the factory adjustable option, turns it into a real practice rifle. If you're training fundamentals for longer shots, this is the rifle that makes those fundamentals obvious. Bad fundamentals will wreck your groups faster than any cheap barrel. Common mistake, trying to treat it like a semi-auto and expecting the same cadence. Take your time with follow-through, and you'll get rewarded. A practical drill. Set a 100-yard plate, take 3 shots, adjust for point of impact, then re-engage. Repeat until you can consistently put 3 rounds into a small target. Ammo selection matters here more than with a plinker. Test 3 loads, and pick the one that likes your barrel for the day. Maintenance is straightforward. Keep the action clean, headspace safe, and torque the scope mounts evenly. For hunting or serious practice, pair it with a simple bipod and a calm firing position. You'll squeeze the most out of its value that way. Final takeaway. If you need honest accuracy without breaking the bank, the Savage Axis gives you a practical path to real precision work. Number 7. CZP-10C. This one punches above its price class for straight-up duty and range work. It points like a gun that costs more, with a grip geometry that makes sighting intuitive and follow-ups natural. Trigger feel on the P10C is clean for a striker-fired pistol. Not fancy, but honest and repeatable when you practice. On the range, it soaks up 9mm recoil in a way that helps you maintain sight picture instead of ping-ponging off target. If you're training rapid transitions or working on pair drills, the ergonomics and low-bore Axis keep your splits usable. Common mistake: swapping the sights first. Run the stock sights long enough to learn your baseline, then upgrade to suppressor height or a red dot if you truly need it. Maintenance is simple. Clean the rails, check the extractor, and rotate magazines so they last longer under hard use. A good drill, 6 rounds strong hand only, reload, 6 rounds weak hand. It reveals whether your grip and index are actually doing the work. Mag availability is solid, and aftermarket holsters are plentiful, so it's easy to make this a daily driver or a certified range mule. If you want a single gun that teaches you fundamentals without expensive babysitting, the P10C is a practical choice. It also handles extended strings of fire without getting snappy. That endurance is why a lot of instructors keep one in the loaner rack. Final takeaway: reliable, ergonomic, and training-friendly. Not flashy, but it gets better every time you run it. Number 6. Taurus G2C. Cheap doesn't have to mean disposable, and the G2C proves that. This compact 9mm is straightforward to use, easy to conceal, and forgiving enough for new shooters to build confidence fast. It won't win any ergonomics awards, but the grip texture and frame shape are competent. You can get a solid purchase without a lot of fuss. Recoil is mild, controllable, and predictable, which makes it a decent option for drills that focus on sight recovery and fast reacquisition. If you're on a budget and need a serious backup or a first pistol, the G2C keeps you in the game without breaking the bank. Common mistake: assuming it's a match gun. It isn't. Don't expect competition-grade triggers or premium fit and finish. Expect honest service. A practical drill: 10 rounds from concealment. Move laterally 5 yards. Engage 2 targets. The G2C separates grip discipline from gadgetry. Magazines are inexpensive and easy to source. Train with mags that feel the same as your carry set, so your reloads stay consistent. Maintenance is basic. Field strip after a range day, keep the breech face clear, and replace springs on high-round guns. Final takeaway: For the price-conscious shooter who wants a reliable everyday option, the Taurus G2C punches well above its cost. Number 5. Smith & Wesson SD9 2.0. This one sits in the sweet spot between duty-grade durability and range-day friendliness. It's built like a tool: polymer frame, solid slide, and a trigger that's predictable once you put rounds through it. Ergonomics are workmanlike. The grip frames a consistent hand placement, and the controls are easy to index under stress. On recoil, you get a steady, manageable impulse that rewards follow-up accuracy instead of punishing you for trying to shoot fast. If you want a defensive gun that doubles as a trainer, the SD9 2.0 bites that line well. Tough enough for carry, tolerant enough for volume. Common mistake: polishing everything before you learn the gun. Run it stock, figure your sight picture, then tweak the trigger or sights if you need to. A practical drill: 10 rounds at 7 yards for time, immediately transition to a head-sized target at 15 yards. It shows you where the pistol's strengths and limits are. Magazines are rugged and feed reliably. Buy a couple of extra mags and rotate them so you aren't surprised by spring fatigue. Maintenance is straightforward. Keep the extractor and feed ramp clean, check for slide wear, and change recoil springs on a schedule if you run thousands of rounds. Aftermarket options exist, but don't overdo them. Lightening controls or buffing springs can change how it shoots, so adjust one thing at a time. If you're training for defensive scenarios, pair it with simple holster practice and a reload routine that mirrors how you'll actually carry. Final takeaway: it's not sexy, but it's honest. A solid defensive platform that also makes you a better shooter when you run it right. Number 4. Ruger Security 380. This is the pocket-friendly gun that actually behaves like a real defensive option. It's light, small, and built for when concealment matters more than capacity. Chambered in 380 ACP, the recoil is softer than many larger calibers, so it's easier for new shooters to manage accurate follow-ups. Pointability is its strong suit. You can get sights on target faster from a draw than you can with a larger handgun. That doesn't mean it's forgiving. Short sight radius and small grips demand consistent fundamentals and a solid grip purchase. Common mistake: thinking small equals easy. Practice your draw and your grip transitions. Those are the failure points, not the gun. A practical drill: 5 rounds from concealment to the center of a US PSA A-zone at 7 yards, holster, restart, build speed without sacrificing the dot. If you train with plus P loads, test them carefully. They increase recoil and can accelerate wear on a small frame pistol. Maintenance is straightforward. Keep the feed ramp and extractor clean, check the magazine lips, and rotate mags so springs don't sag. Holster selection matters more here than with a full-size pistol. A bad holster will ruin fast draws and create negligent discharges during practice. If you need a light, dependable pocket carry or a backup that won't intimidate new shooters, the Security 380 is a sensible choice. Final takeaway: small package, real defensive capability. Train the draw, trust your fundamentals, and it'll do the job when you need it. Number 3. CZ Scorpion EVO 3S1. This platform brings SMG-ish handling to the table in a package you can actually afford and run all day. It's compact, low recoil, and snaps on target faster than most pistol-caliber carbines, which makes it excellent for close-quarters movement drills and rapid target transitions. The ergonomics are modern. A short stroke, easy cheek weld, and controls that fall to hand without awkward reach. One huge advantage is the commonality of parts and mags in the 9mm world. You can feed it the same magazines you train with from pistols, like the Canik or Sig platforms we discussed. On sustained strings, it stays calm. Recoil management is intuitive, so you can practice speed shooting without destroying your sight picture. Common mistake: treating it like a rifle for long-range precision. This is a close-in tool. Train it for speed, not for mile-long accuracy. A practical drill: cone drills on a barricade, run 40 rounds in controlled sets, move laterally, and reload under time to simulate real movement and malfunctions. For optics, a simple red dot and a modest magnifier if you want reach is enough. Don't overcomplicate the sight picture for close work. Maintenance is straightforward. Keep the bolt and buffer area clean. Inspect the recoil spring and extractor regularly, and use proper 9mm ammo to avoid feeding issues. If you want an enjoyable carbine that teaches movement, mag changes, and quick target engagement, the Scorpion EVO 3S1 is a top pick in this category. Final takeaway, it's a fun tool that actually improves practical shooting skills, fast, forgiving, and solid for training in tight spaces. Number 2. Canik MC9. This little package is a shockingly capable 9mm in a compact footprint. It feels like a gun designed to be used, not displayed. Ergonomics are surprisingly polished for the price point. The grip frames your hand well, the controls are intuitive, and the balance makes follow-ups predictable. On recoil, it's mild and manageable, which means you can run long strings and still keep your sight picture without getting punished. Factory triggers on later MC9 variants are better than you'd expect, crisp enough to train real split times without needing aftermarket surgery. If you're training for carry or short-range defensive work, it's an ideal platform. Small enough to conceal, big enough to shoot well under stress. Common mistake: thinking compact equals poor accuracy. With decent fundamentals, you can put 6-inch groups at 7 yards consistently. A practical drill: engage 3 targets at varying distances inside 10 yards, reload, then transition to a failure drill. It tells you whether your grip and reloads survive the stress. Magazines are affordable and reliable. Carry spares that match the mags you use on the range so your reloads aren't surprises. Optics-ready models turn the MC9 into a very quick red dot gun. Pair it with a low-profile dot, and train both dot-on-dot and iron sight fallback. Maintenance? Keep the striker channel clean. Rotate magazines, and run a few hundred rounds through any new configuration before trusting it for defense. For instructors and new shooters, it's a teach-and-carry contender. You can hand it to a student, watch them learn, and be confident it will run. Final takeaway: the Canik MC9 gives you modern features without bleeding your wallet. A compact that trains like a full size and carries like a compact. Number 1. Mossberg 88. This is the one you keep when you want something that just works. A pump shotgun teaches discipline. You have to cycle the action, manage recoil, and think about patterning. It forces you to slow down in the best possible way. On the range, it's forgiving but honest. You can run defensive drills, breach drills, slugs for distance, or birdshot for pattern work. The manual of arms is simple, which makes it a perfect instructor gun. Show reloads, show immediate action, and the student can mirror you quickly. Recoil is present, but the pump design keeps the gun controllable for most shooters when you use proper stance and a firm cheek weld. Pointability beats pure specs here. A smooth, well-fitted stock gets you on target faster than a long list of features ever will. Common mistake: loading the wrong pattern for the task. Patterning at the range saves lives and embarrassment. Know your ammo and test it through your barrel and choke. A practical drill: 3 rounds of birdshot to a reduced-size target at 7 yards, then 2 slugs at 15 yards. This drills pattern recognition and transition under stress. Another useful drill: malfunction simulation. Practice immediate action and speed reloads so you don't panic when the gun sticks in a real moment. Maintenance is straightforward but essential. Keep the action rails clean, inspect the forend and slide release, and replace worn extractors or magazine tube springs before they fail. Accessories are plentiful: a good set of chokes, a simple ghost ring sight, or a short rail for one red dot can dramatically expand its utility. If you plan to use it for home defense, pick patterns that make sense for indoor ballistics and always practice with the same load you intend to carry. On the downside, it's not subtle to carry, and it demands space to train safely. Don't expect to practice shotgun transitions in a cramped indoor lane without planning. Final takeaway: versatile, reliable, and brutally practical. The Mossberg 88 is the kind of gun that earns its place in your kit every time you take it out. Thanks for riding through the list. Remember, the best gun for you is the one you can use well, not the one with the fanciest specs. Train with purpose. Pick drills that fix your weak spots, and don't be afraid to spend a session on fundamentals instead of chasing gear. If one of these picks caught your eye, tell me which one and why. Or drop your personal go-to that didn't make the list. I read every comment. I'll keep running these hands-on tests and bringing takeaways you can actually use on the range. More tips and gear breakdowns coming soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay sharp.